My name is Marie Manuel, and I am the Membership and Partnerships Manager at the Nonprofit Association of Oregon. NAO is proud to have over 1,100 nonprofit members representing Oregon's robust nonprofit sector. Today, we're spotlighting one of our rural nonprofit members, the Coos Art Museum. We are joined here today by Stephen Broocks, who is the Executive Director of the Coos Art Museum. Thank you, Steve, for joining me today. Tell me about your organization, the Coos Art Museum. Tell us about your mission and who you serve.
The Coos Art Museum is the third oldest art museum in Oregon, and we've been active since 1966 at two different locations. We're at our current location, which is a historic 1936 post office in downtown Coos Bay. And our mission is to, officially, we say we are the cornerstone of art on the South Coast. And we fulfill that through three activities. We do exhibitions, and we have as many as 20 exhibitions a year when we're open. We do education programming, both in-house and outreach, and we're building a collection, and our collection is now over 620 pieces. Most of the collection is fairly contemporary. It's art. A lot is art from this area, from Oregon and the Pacific Northwest. But we have some national, international pieces. We do up to 20 exhibits a year. Some of the favorites are our annuals, which repeat. Either we have annual or biennial exhibitions. Among the annual exhibitions are the Maritime, which is a national and sometimes international. We've had entries from far away as New Zealand. Maritime art exhibition, and it's one of the longest continuous maritime art exhibitions on the West Coast. I believe it might be the longest continuous exhibition. This would have been our 27th year, but we've postponed it to next year. We also do Expressions West, which is a 13-state art competition for contemporary art. That's our most contemporary show, and that's annual. Every year we also do Vision, which is a high school art competition for high school artists of the South Coast. And that's important because the top three prize winners receive a tuition waiver for Southwestern Oregon Community College.
So, Steve, you already mentioned, that you're currently still not open. And I know that these past few months really have been challenging for a lot of nonprofits.
Yeah.
To say the least. So how is your organization doing, and how have you adjusted or changed maybe ways that you serve your community?
We have suffered some losses. We've had to cancel or seriously modify 5 major fundraising programs. Plus, because we can't do the special projects that we normally do, can't request grants, project grants, which was a big part of our funding scheme. We're waiting to reopen on a limited basis. Well, we've been working on a lot of online programming.
Mm-hmm.
Our education director, her name is Val, and Val's been producing videos for us. She actually is a YouTube champion. She's been doing this for quite the time. And one of the more interesting is the history of our maritime exhibitions that goes back 26 years. And it kind of talks about the artists that are involved in the kind of work they do and why we're involved with maritime art, which makes sense given that we're right on the coast. I didn't mention we're the only art museum on the Pacific Coast north of Eureka, California. I mean, right on the coast. We have been doing some programs. One of the plans that we had was to do something called Art Card in the Parks. And that was to present lessons for the attendees to the free lunch program in Coos Bay and North Bend. Well, we couldn't have really person-to-person lessons because of the situation. So what Val did was put together art kits with lessons, all written out, but also we're available through YouTube and Facebook. so that the kids who received the kits could dial in and work with the materials that we provided in their home locations. And we did I think she gave out over 500 kits during this program. And it was three lessons or 3 projects each week for 8 weeks or 9 weeks during the summer.
And other than that kind of those achievements that you shared, or is there anything else that like a success story or a big milestone for your organization that you wanted to share?
On December 11th, all things being good, we're going back to showing the outside shows, and we have 3 that are lined up. One is Betty Bangs. Betty is a volunteer at the museum. She celebrated her 96th birthday on Labor Day this year, and she is the most go-getting 96-year-old you'd ever want to meet. And she's been an active artist for decades. And this is going to be a retrospective of her work. It's called Life with a Bang. So her name is Betty Bangs. We're also going to be doing a group show. We have had workshops at the museum where several artists gather, and that's been taking place during the close down. And they work in the museums under the direction of Pat Snyder, who's kind of another volunteer, been very active at the museum. There's an artist named M.V. Moran, and she does 10-foot-high drawings, and they're portraits of women, and it's called The Big Girls. And actually, some of them, I think, are self-portraits. And we're also going to go through our permanent collection and pick out artists that we have multiple works from.
What would you say are your organization's current needs?
Well, we always can use funding, but I told you we'll be okay. We're going to be okay. But one of the things that we have needed for some time is an increased volunteer base. That's always a thing with museums. I think we also need to reach out to a younger audience. It's interesting, we get people that are over 55 and children quite a bit, but we're kind of getting the middle ranges, I think. So marketing, public outreach, and I'd like people to take a look at our website, which is really quite fine, and some of our YouTube videos that are out there. Maybe they'll be interested in what we're doing here in Coos Bay.
Thank you, Steve, for sharing about the Coos Art Museum, and we're thrilled to have you and your organization as a nonprofit member of NAO.
Thank you.